Oh, you damn right. Let's go. Orange Bloods live on a Wednesday. We're right in the middle of the week, and things are a little different this week because of SEC Media Days. And what a Tuesday it was for the Texas football program. We're going to hit all of that today, unless you guys want us to break down Bama, Mississippi State, Florida, and no, come back. I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about Texas today. Don't worry. It's Orange Bloods Live, and thanks once again to Texas Card House, Taste on Main, and Hayes City Store, our presenting sponsors of SEC Media Days, getting our crew to and from Atlanta. And we're going to be talking about yesterday. Jeff Ketchum taking an administrative day today. He calls it an administrative day. I call it OU's day at SEC Media Days, and he just doesn't want to talk about him, which
neither do I, Chad. Neither do I.
Right. And we won't talk a ton about him. Trust me. But Jason Sukamel is here. And Jason, I appreciate you jumping in for a lot of reasons. I want to get your reaction, obviously, to SEC Media Day stuff with Sark and Arch and everything. But yesterday was just a wild day. And I thought it'd be a good time to take a breath and kind of go back over everything, because July 15th, 2025 is one that Texas fans, I think, are going to remember. Even if they don't remember that exact date, it could end up being just a incredibly memorable Tuesday. So let's go back over it, kind of how everything, rolled out. And we'll start with Tyler Atkinson. Let's go chronologically, because the day really began with the Tyler Atkinson thing at SEC Media Days. Kirby Smart spoke and got to start the day, that Sark would ultimately end in Atlanta. And then we have the Pat McAfee show with Tyler Atkinson. So from you, let's start with the timeline. He does this, it was our 11 o'clock hour, our 11 a.m. Central hour.
11:15, 11:20.
Right? Yeah. He does that on a Tuesday. Tell me when you first heard that maybe was a possibility, that he was going to commit and that it was going to be on the McAfee show. Like, when did you start to hear that?
Really not till the night before. I mean, we knew he was supposed to commit in July. So I kind of figured maybe this week, maybe next week, unless he decided to push it back. But he and people close to him had been telling me directly, hey, he's going to announce probably in July. It'll be this summer sometime. But it wasn't until Monday night when it came out that he is going to announce on the Pat McAfee show. And then Chad, you and me and Ketch and everybody, we're talking on Tuesday morning. Well, how are we going to handle this? Are you guys going to be live during this commitment? We kind of assumed the McAfee show goes from 11 till 1 Central Time. We thought maybe they'd have him at the back end of that where you and Ketch would be live. Well, then lo and behold, it's like, whoa, he's on the front end. 11:15 he's going to announce. So that kind of shook things up a little bit. And, thankfully we already had stories written and pre-written and commitment graphics already made, and that made things a little bit easier. But it was a nice start to the morning. I'm not sure if Kirby was actually at the mic when that happened. I was watching McAfee. I wasn't watching Kirby. So I don't know if those things really actually coincided. It may have been, but I heard about it Monday night, and then we knew it was going to be Texas. So we kind of had everything ready to go Tuesday morning. I honestly did not write I had so many other things I was writing on Monday, my 3-2-1 column Monday night and things. I didn't write my Tyler Atkinson commitment story until Tuesday morning. So I woke up Tuesday morning, okay, let's get this sucker cranked out before the McAfee show goes live. So got that written and ready on Tuesday morning, got it loaded, and we were ready for that commitment late Tuesday morning.
Yeah, the timing of Kirby was interesting to me because we talked about it yesterday, but when he speaks to the media, and in one of his answers, he says, we are more about relationships than transaction. We're more relationship oriented than transaction oriented. I thought, okay, I get what you're doing there. You're being a little sensitive. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Is that a guy that lost Tyler Atkinson? Is that a guy that knows deep down that this kid's going to go to McAfee and put on a burnt orange hat? So I had that in my brain watching Atkinson. I'm like, was Kirby right here? And then as soon as he throws that Texas hat on, I'm like, yep. Kirby knew it, I think, at that moment, Jason.
Oh, 100%. Oh, he absolutely knew it. And I think you're 100% right that he was sensitive. Kirby gets sensitive about a lot of things, okay? Yeah. This is a guy who can win a game by 30, and then he goes in and complains about the officiating. He beat Texas last year, comes out complaining about officiating. But I think he was sensitive, and I think he knew he was losing Tyler Atkinson. And listen, I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. For Kirby to say they're not transactional, Kirby Smart in Georgia, they've been transactional from the day he took that job, long before NIL was a thing. So Kirby save me the poor me, like we're getting outbid, and they're still transactional. That's ridiculous. I said this to a friend of mine who might be watching the show today. He mentioned my comments yesterday about Kirby. I said, Kirby's probably, I'll use the word transactional, but he's the most transactional coach in football probably right now since Nick Saban retired, and has been for a while. Yeah. So,
hey, all I know, Jason, is I'm not even going to rank them. There are 16 coaches specifically that don't ever need to use the word transactional. And we know where they are. They're all going to be in Atlanta at some point this week. Like, come on, Kirby, give me a break. We had the Georgia coach, the LSU coach, and the Ole Miss coach this week. As we're speaking here on a Wednesday, all three of them have already gotten a little self-righteous on us. And it's like, come on, fellas, what are we doing here?
Yeah. You guys have been, you coaches have been transactional for a long time before it was above board. So save it.
I think even the most, even the craziest fans in Oxford, Athens, and Baton Rouge are going, really? Did he just say that? What is happening?
But hey, that was a fresh wound when he was talking.
Definitely a fresh wound. And there was another wound coming. We'll get to that. By the way, we want to mention, great time for you to jump in the chat today if you want to throw in your comments. And by the way, somebody asked, this is a good question from Duval Don. How often do kids announce on McAfee's show? Not often, Don. In fact, it's a very, very small handful. There was a guy who committed to BYU in the last year, but it's a small group. It's less than 10 for sure. It might be less than 5 ever. It's a unique thing.
It is. I'm not a McAfee loyal viewer at all. Honestly, yesterday was the first time I've really ever watched it. I don't know, but it's very rare. As far as guys I've paid attention to, very, very rare. I know there have been a couple, like Chad said, but you might get one a year or something. And listen, this was because Tyler Atkinson and his agent reached out to McAfee and said, hey, we would like to do this. And you get, for everybody who watched it, it makes sense. Tyler is a very personable, very respectful. He's good on camera, good in interviews. So it made sense that he would be a guy that McAfee would be like, hey, let's go ahead and do it and not to mention he's a 5-star prospect, right? So made a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Don, thank you for that question. Oh, look at here. Buck Wild Longhorn stopping the show with a 50 spot. Thank you, Buck Wild. Hey, I've been absent lately. New baby.
Yeah, you need to be saving that $50, Buck Wild.
I was going to say, we appreciate it. We hope you still have some left for diapers and promotion at work.
Oh, well, there we go. Yes.
But he says more responsibility than money. Hopefully enough money for some diapers. Can I ask for a 5 to 10 minute summary of this offseason since the playoff game? Oh, good Lord. Coaching changes, transfers, and recruiting. Keep up the awesome work. Keep up the awesome work. Yeah, man. 5 to 10 minutes on the whole off season, Jason. You want to do that? You ready?
Not really. New coaches. You've got Lealon Clark. You've got Dwayne Aquina. You've got Mark Orfe. Who's the Nichols coach? I always forget his name. Chad, you're gonna tell. He's got a unique name. I think that's all of them, right? So in the secondary, because there were no new offensive coaches, right?
I believe that is true.
Yeah, so it's all defensive coaches. So they replaced a couple and then kind of added a couple pieces, the edge coach and the nickel coach. And somebody will pull up his name. It's a name I can't pull up.
No, I was going to say I'm going to go right to this coaching staff list because I'm not going to come up with it. Canado Hudson.
Thank you. Yeah. So
I knew I'd mess up the first name.
Yeah. Basically, they replaced and then added 2 new positions, the edge and the nickel coach. So there's that. Transfers. Let's see. I'm going to have to seriously pull up the roster because they had 4 defensive.
Yeah, so we'll start that. The interior defensive line is where my mind goes immediately. Buck Wild Longhorn. That's Shaw and Brevard, right? Do I have that right? Brevard from
Purdue pitched in 50, and he let me see, he's making a start 50.
Hero Canoe from
Murad Watson, Cole Brevard, Hero Canoe.
Is it Travis Shaw, his name?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, which weirdly I'm not seeing him on my roster, but yeah.
Shaw is North Carolina. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Big guy from North Carolina. The big one to know maybe is Jack Endries. Getting a weird echo. The tight end out of Cal. Buckwild came in, and I mean he's going to be a day one starter for you.
I think the receiver's big too. Embry.
Yeah, Embry out of Stanford came in, so he's a guy that'll be potentially a starter, but certainly in the rotation. We might be leaving one or two guys out, but those are the main names to know. Recruiting, what do you? He asked about recruiting too. Like I don't know how to sum up recruiting.
I know we get hit some of the big ones. I mean, I'd go back to before we are talking about the Tyler Atkinson thing, and we'll get to the other.
Scott Cody mentioned in the chat. Chad Scott, the running backs coach, of course, replacing Tashard Choice. I forgot about him. So.
Oh yeah, there you go. Running backs coach, good job. Yes, there was one on the offensive side.
Recruiting. What you need to know is, let's see here. Things were pretty slow for Texas. They've really ramped up. Honestly, Buckwild. I don't know when your child was born, but maybe it coincides with that. But they've really ramped up lately. They've got 3 specialists committed, which I know that's not the big news to start with. But kicker, punter, deep snapper, John Turntine is just committed fairly recently. Samari Smoke Matthews, a top national cornerback. James Johnson.
Did you mention Richard Wesley?
I did not mention Richie Wesley. Richie Wesley committed, it was on his official visit, so a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago, but that's massive.
And, I tell you what, like we're talking about Tyler Atkinson. We're going to talk about James Johnson. Diabell's been committed for a while, so that's probably not new to Buckwild. If you're asking me who's the number 1 player on this commitment list, I'm buying stock in Richie Wesley. Okay, first off, he's a guy that reclassified. He's still super young.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him at the Rivals 5-star camp, and Alex Dunlap was there. Alex is not here. Cody unfortunately got sick. He wasn't able to make it. But Chad, let me tell you, that dude earned, like, you see a 5-star, you're like, okay, let's see you live up to that 5-star ranking. I'm like, okay, he's a 5-star, but he's probably underranked. Like when I walked, that's how I felt leaving Indianapolis.
So to make a comparison, people might get the opposite of what happened to Felix Ojo when he went to a camp.
Yeah, Felix. In fact, Felix took a beating, and Richie Wesley gave him part of that beating.
part of it was Wesley. There you go.
So Richie earned his status. Felix lost his 5-star status because of it, deservedly so. And listen, I love Felix, and I'm a Felix fan. I think he still has a enormous potential, and I'm going to be rooting for him at Texas Tech. I know that people don't like hearing that because he spurned Texas, but I like Felix Ojo. I think he's a good kid. So, Richie Wesley is a name, definitely Buckwild. File that one away. It's fairly new commitment, big time player. And then, we'll talk about what happened yesterday and what we think is going to happen on Sunday.
Yeah, and Buckwild. So that kind of gets you, it does kind of get you caught up. At that point, as we came into yesterday, the Texas class had crept up into the top 15 discussion. Maybe it's back into the top 10 for some, but it really took a nice shot in the arm yesterday with Tyler Atkinson getting in fact, just Tyler Atkinson getting into the class, I think in some people's minds is what got it into that top 10.
I think that put him at 9, and again, I'm using the Rivals industry ranking, that takes Rivals 24/7 and ESPN into account. Okay. The Tyler Atkinson one bumped him up to number 9 because I checked it yesterday morning. I believe now, and I haven't checked it today, but I believe they're number 6 today. So.
That's good. Yeah, and that's the thing. And it went up to number 6, Buckwild, because of a flip that we'll talk about that happened later on in the day with J.J. Johnson flipping from Georgia to Texas. Bad day for Kirby Smart on this past Tuesday. So, Buckwild, thank you for showing everybody how to do it. If y'all throw in a super chat like that, we will stop things. We will get to those super chats. And this is a great day for y'all to do just what Buckwild did. Not ask us to say that much. But if you have a recruiting question for Jason, it's a great chance to do that. Some people are also throwing some chats in. Let me just get this out real quick, Jason, because we are going to talk a little bit about media days. Apparently, Greg Sankey did throw an apology out this morning for the musical snafu with Sark. It needed to happen. I'm glad to read, Chris Bennett, that it happened. I'm not sure if he did it in front of the whole assembly, but whatever, needed to be said, hopefully he said that. So that's good. Because then, Jason, as we go through the day yesterday, we have the media day that we were all waiting for, where Arch Manning was going to be around 3:00, but then it was Sark at 2:15. Let me just ask you real quick. I always say it this way. You not only follow the Texas Longhorns, this is your team. You're a Texas fan as well. So this is your head coach. What'd you think of Sark yesterday, especially in light of the fact that, you know, if his brain had all registered that the wrong song was playing, I mean, that would have thrown me off for 10 minutes. I'd have flipped out if I was Sark. He kept it pretty cool to my eyes. What'd you see?
You know what? I'm not sure he even recognized it, or he was listening. Maybe he just was so laser focused. Like, if he recognized it, he didn't give as much as like a nod or a stutter or a stop in his step.
Yep.
I mean, he just kept on, marching up towards the stage. So I'm like, does Sark even know A&M's fight song? I mean, maybe not. Or was he just so laser focused that he just tuned it out? So I'm not sure he even noticed. But as far as what I saw from Sark, I thought, I mean, listen, Sark always wins a press conference. I think he's fantastic in press conference settings. I thought yesterday was as good as I've seen him. He was relaxed. The first question right off the bat was like, "Hey, you guys suck in the red zone," basically. And Sark's like, "Oh, wow."
And by the way, bravo to that kid for phrasing the question that way, and Sark for dealing with it that way.
And Sark was like, "Okay." He goes, "Wow, you're coming out swinging." He goes, "Hopefully next year we get that fixed, and you guys are asking about something else." But he handled that well. Somebody asked him about Tyler Atkinson, and Sark was super cool about it. He could have been like, "Dude, I can't talk about that, dummy." But Sark was like, "Hey, I can't talk about someone who hasn't signed." He goes, "I'm not trying, just so you know, I'm not ducking your question." I thought he was super polite. I thought he was relaxed. Some humor in there. I thought he was informative. I haven't watched a lot of the SEC media days other than the Texas stuff because I've been busy with other crap, obviously. But I'd be hard pressed. If you told me, "Hey, this other coach handled himself better than Steve Sarkisian," I'm going to say, I'm going to have to go back and watch that for myself because I'm having a hard time believing it. I thought Sark was fantastic yesterday.
Yeah, he's just got such a different feel to him, Jason. You're absolutely right. Like, there's a polish to him that only a couple other guys that are in this SEC group, I would even give him credit for having. And one of them was today. Like, DeBoer can be DeBoer feels like a big-time football coach to me. Is he ready for Alabama? I have no idea because that's such a huge job. But he's one of those that's right. But I don't think he's quite to where Sark was. And I put a post on Orange Bloods today, my 2%er, weekly post. And it was about Sark and the War Hymn. And I comment on that, the Aggie War Hymn thing, but also just about how he performed. And I always use the phrase effectively boring. And sometimes people hear that as an insult. I don't mean it as an insult. What I mean is the Texas head coach is going to be asked to give a headline, cause problems, flip out. Sometimes they try to trap him, and he can't do that, in my estimation. Got to stay above all that. And I thought, Jason, a poster said it perfectly in a comment. He said, Sark is honest at the right time, evasive at the right time, and confident at the right time. It's super impressive how he pulls it all off. Hallelujah. That's exactly it. I don't mean Sark is like boring in the typical sense. He's effectively boring. He does exactly what he needs to do, but he doesn't cause extra static. That's what I mean by that, Jason. And he was A+ at that yesterday.
He's a very clear communicator, and you understand why he's a good recruiter. And I've heard that from parents. I've heard it from coaches. I've heard it from players. He's just a natural communicator. I was watching him yesterday, and I was thinking, this guy could seriously run for office and probably do a really good job. I don't know at all if he's political. I couldn't tell you anything about it, but if he wanted to be, if that's something he wanted to do, I'm like, I could see Sark getting some votes because he's a really, really good communicator. He's clear. He's concise. He's funny. He's humble. He's just really good at this stuff. I mean, he's a fantastic coach. We know that. He's a tremendous X's and O's guy, but he is fantastic in dealing with the media. He's one of the best in the country. Lane Kiffin's really good too. Pete Carroll's really good. So maybe it's kind of some of those ties, and we've seen Sark be a little bit bristly. He's got a little bit of that Saban edge to him at times, not very often though. But I think he won the day yesterday on a lot of levels, obviously.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Real quick before we kind of transition, it hit me this morning, Jason. It does occasionally with Sark. He is the perfect combination of his mentors to me.
Mm-hmm.
He is wonderfully equal parts Saban and Pete Carroll, because Saban never looked like he wanted to be at the podium, and Pete Carroll kind of did, and Sark's got just enough of, I don't have to be here, but I want to be here because I'm going to tell you how great we are. It's a good mix of those two guys to me.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like I said, he's got kind of that Saban edge when he needs it, but he's also got the just kind of the lovable personality of Pete Carroll. You're like, oh, that dude, feel like I could hang out with that dude and have a good time. Yeah,
it's a perfect combo there. All right, we will continue to talk media days. I want to get Jason's thoughts on Arch Manning because it was that day yesterday too. Also, that flip later in the afternoon, a flip kind of out of nowhere that was big for Texas. We'll get to that, but right now, let's hear from one of our great partners, and that is AV Consultations. Here's something Jason and I might have thought about, but we've never actually done. What's it like to record a commercial with your daughter? Fathers and daughters recording commercials. Here's Tom and Camilla with AV Consultations.
Hi, everyone. This is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations. We've been serving and assisting customers in the Texas area
I think I got this by now, old man. This is Camilla McKay, Audiovisual's social media and website manager. Our company has been helping you sit back and relax for the last 37 years. We come to you, and we're the kind of workers you want in your home. We give you all the advice at a great price, and we do a lot more than just audiovisual systems. We have employees capable of performing services like electrical contracting, heated floors, motorized shades. Am I forgetting anything, old man?
Yeah, we do surveillance systems, controlled lighting systems, and landscape lighting, computer networks, multi-room audio systems, and of course, we install some really cool theaters.
I had a feeling you were going to say that last one.
Now, am I forgetting anything?
Only this. Remember to hug your kids, laugh with strangers, and make love to whoever the hell you want.
So give us a call at 512-255-8678.
Or visit us online at avconsultations.com.
That's 512-255-8678.
Yes, indeed. Make sure you tell AV Consultations that you heard about it right here on Orange Bloods Live. All right, Jason, let's get to that flip discussion with a super chat. Thanks, Mike, for the $4.99. Did the J.J. Johnson flip surprise you guys? Also, is Texas gaining momentum with we going Cruel or Krull there? Do you know which way do you go?
Cruel, yeah.
Yes. So again, this is J.J. Johnson. Let me make sure I get this right. This is a D tackle out of Florida yesterday that flipped from Georgia.
Right, Miami Northwestern. It did, Mike, to some degree, and I'm a little mad at myself for letting it because Anwar Richardson of Orange Bloods reported last week in the War Room on Thursday that Texas had 3 silent commitments. Okay, so I was like, okay, sometimes silent commitments, like, okay, what does that mean? Guy, maybe is he truly a silent commitment? Is he just kind of showing the coaches saying, hey, I'm probably going to go to your school? But then yesterday we heard right before it went public about James Johnson to the point where I didn't have time to have a story prepared and written and ready. I should have probably had one written and ready because we'd kind of heard rumblings about him in Texas kind of heating back up after he committed to Georgia not even 3 weeks ago. So he takes that Texas official visit, commits to Georgia. 3 weeks later, he flips to Texas. So it did, but the pieces fit with the information we had. I just didn't put the puzzle together in my brain, which is shame on me for that. I should have been more prepared. So it did catch me off guard a little bit. When I look back, I was like, oh, you big dummy. You should have probably had a story written and ready to go because we knew about the silent commitment. We knew he was flirting with Texas. I just didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Is Texas gaining momentum with Jake Cruel? Here's the deal with Jake Cruel. He dropped his top 3. It's Oklahoma, Texas, and Ole Miss. There was a time when everybody thought he was going to go to Florida. He's at IMG Academy. His dad, I think, has some Florida connections. Well, we heard back in June, like, no, Florida's out. Well, this week he dropped, I think it was this week, his top 3, or maybe it was last week. Texas has done a really good job here in selling him on, hey, we think you are a lot like Colin Simmons. And as I talked this out, Mike, I posted my rumor mill on Orange Bloods today. This was supposed to go in my rumor mill, and I forgot to put it in there. So it'll go in my Truths and Lies column tomorrow. How about that? But Texas has done a really good job on selling him on being similar to Colin Simmons and just the way they play and their frame and what they can do. I heard that from Jake directly when I talked to him about a month ago. I was like, okay, like I don't, nobody's like Colin Simmons, right? He's just freakishly unique. But then I saw Jake Cruel at the Indianapolis camp, the same one Richie Wesley, Felix Ojo, and all these other great players were at. Dude, I'm like, okay, I get it now. This guy is a flash off the edge. He can do damn near anything. One of the offensive linemen got hurt, and I don't remember who it was because Richie Wesley planted this offensive lineman on his butt. this guy hurt his arm trying to brace himself when Richie Wesley basically pancaked the offensive lineman. Jake Cruel's like, hey, because they were doing this weird competition where each team was divided up into 3. They had an offensive lineman, they had a defensive line, and maybe I don't remember, a linebacker. So this team needed an offensive lineman. Jake Cruel goes, I'll play offensive line for our team. Dude, he did it and did it pretty well, Chad. He played the offensive line pretty well. So, but to answer Mike's question, I do think Texas is gaining some momentum. I still favor Oklahoma in that one based on what I have heard and what I heard coming out of that Rivals 5-star. But yeah, I think Texas, it's a winnable race for Texas. But I still think right now I would favor Oklahoma. He's not planning to announce until well into the fall. So, I mean, listen, things can always change. It's recruiting. We've seen timelines change in a hurry. But right now, I'm not expecting a decision right away from Jake Cruel, but we're keeping an eye on that one for sure.
Mike, thank you so much for that super chat. Another chat came in earlier. First off, just Jareth saying yesterday was a great effing day. Miami hitting the panic button on Cooper to Texas. Oh, Jareth, we'll get there. We'll get to Derek Cooper. He's being thought of, I know, by a lot of Texas fans. Somebody else, Jamie, says yesterday was no accident. Sark was playing chess. And that gets me to this, Jason. Text guy, the flip was orchestrated to occur during SEC Media Days. Is that correct? I mean, technically, the flip, if he's talking about the flip of John, that didn't happen, I think, until after kind of the events of the day. Maybe he's asking, was the Atkinson thing orchestrated?
Maybe Atkinson. That one was a little more high profile, being on national television. But still, I mean, SEC Media Days are going on today, so you could argue that J.J. Johnson be tied.
Maybe, yeah.
Possibly text guy. I'm not ruling that out. But sometimes these kids, you can't really, especially guys of this caliber, you can't tell them what to do, right? I mean, it almost would have had to have been their idea. Hey, Coach Sark, let me, if Atkins said, let me do this right before you take the podium that afternoon, just to kind of, give some, I mean, hell, there was a Tyler Atkinson question in Sark's press conference. So I'm not saying it wasn't, but I haven't heard definitively that it was.
Yeah, text guy, thank you for that. Again, if y'all want to shoot us a super chat, it'll go right to the top of the list. I marked a couple of regular chats that we may get to as well. Real quick, strange question for you, Jason. Do you know if you have banned Sandman? Because apparently Sandman has been blocked in some way. I did not do it unless I did it accidentally.
I don't even know. Is that on the Sandman's usually in the chat? So I'm assuming they're talking about on
from this chat. Like somehow Sandman will check. If you're able to watch, we will check on you. I've never had a problem with Sandman.
I've never banned anybody. I don't even know how to ban somebody. So no, unless I somehow stupidly clicked a button, which isn't out of the question for me to do something stupid like that. But no, I don't have any knowledge of banning Sandman. So.
Sandman is a consistently weird chatter that wants to fire Sark for all good and bad news. Like that's just
maybe he should be banned.
It's kind of who he is. We've never really we kind of assume that that's what it's going to be. So we will get back to all of that. So after the show, can't do it now, but Sandman, I'll check into it and we'll see what we got. If you guys want to jump in, please feel free to do so. Thanks again to our great travel sponsors for SEC Media Days, Texas Card House, Hay City Store, and Taste on Main. We'll tell you more about them as we go along. Also, y'all know I'm going to tell you a little bit about sinus and snoring specialists. And we had a wild moment yesterday where Ketch said he talked to somebody who went to sinus and snoring because he heard us talk about it and then didn't tell him where he heard about it. Now, he also admitted that it was his wife that might have set it up. So, fellas, if you're out there and you're going to go to sinus and snoring and maybe the wife is setting it up for you, could you please, for Uncle Chad, just have her mention either my name or Orange Bloods or Orange Bloods Live, because that's how they track stuff and then determine whether or not they want to keep going with the advertising. So I would really appreciate it. I keep telling y'all, I don't want to have to get a real job after all these years, and sinus and snoring specialist is one of the reasons, along with these other places I tell you about, why I haven't had to do that. So definitely make sure you mention it. But most importantly, get rid of your allergies for good. Get rid of your sinus issues for good. Snoring, sleep apnea, they can get rid of all of that for you. 601-0303 or sinussnoringent.com. Feel clear, rested, and healthy with sinus and snoring specialists. And be sure to tell them that you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live. Not a bad idea as well. All right. We did get, let's see if we got any super chats in. Not yet, but one of my favorite chatters jumped in. We'll get to him. David Keith, I see you. It's a good, long kind of recruiting deal. So we will get there. But I want to get this in because it will enable us to transition slightly to Arch Manning real quick. ATX Bates gives the summary. So, hey, Buck Wild, if you're out there and you want the summary, here's the ATX Bates summary of what's gone on. Sark is good at hiring and recruiting. The team will be really good. Spurrier hates Arch. Feinbaum loves him. NIL is crazy. I don't know if Spurrier hates Arch. That's probably not fair. But, Jason, I did note that somebody tried to get Arch to go down that road. In general, they threw him softballs that I heard all day. But somebody tried to do the Spurrier thing, and Arch's answer was about as wonderfully disarming as I've ever heard. Ever.
I don't think I watched his interview, but I'm curious. I must have missed it. What was the question and answer?
And that's even better. The fact that you didn't even put it, the fact that you did, that means he really got rid of it. So they tried to ask the question about, Steve Spurrier, blah, 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 blah. Here's what he did. He said, yeah, Coach Spurrier, I mean, he's obviously a legend. I mean, he's in here, right? Meaning he's in the Hall of Fame, the College Hall of Fame where they're sitting. And somebody's like, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, and I'm just trying to focus on me and trying to become, that great one day, something like that. And then it was done. And it took him, 38 seconds, maybe. It was masterful. And he didn't have to talk about Quinn. He didn't have to talk about Sark. He didn't have to talk about any of that stuff. He just completely diffused it. It was well done.
Every answer I watched from Arch, I was just thinking, this dude has been so well schooled by his parents, by his uncles, by his coaches, whatever it is. I mean, he gives short answers, so he doesn't kind of talk himself into a hole, so to speak. His answers really aren't like these long-winded answers. They're concise. He's kind of self-deprecating and humble, kind of like his uncles and his dad too. Yeah, man. I mean, Arch handled himself really well. I mean, you see all these tweets of like just the hordes of media that are surrounding him when he gets there. I mean, he's a seasoned pro at these types of situations already, and it's still very new to him. But yeah, I was just sitting there watching his interview yesterday, and I watched it again this morning. And I was thinking, man, like somebody has really coached him up. And like, when did this start? Like, is this something they've been working on with him when he was in high school, maybe even middle school, to prepare him for dealing with the media? Or is he just that much of a natural that it just comes just incredibly easy to him? And he did say, like, hey, I don't know if his grandfather or his uncles were said, hey, basically, the less you say, the better. Well, he's got it down to a science, man, because he answers the questions, he's thoughtful, and he gives you information, but he doesn't go on these 5-minute long rants. It's about a 10-second answer to each question, then he's on to the next one.
Yeah, it was really well done. I mean, he, the uncomfortability he had, they were like physical and sound. Like, he didn't look super comfortable in a suit. He shouldn't. He's fidgeting with that
right.
Suit. He was kind of fidgeting with the tie, and then he needed to move a little closer to the mic.
I like that when he first sat down. He goes, "Do I need to lean in?"
Because John Bianco was trying to help him on, hey man, let's move it up a little bit, and people were telling him to lean in. That was it. But in terms of, you're right, the way he handles himself and the questions answered, it's amazing. And to answer the question of how long, Jason, if he was sort of starting to become that big of a deal. I'm assuming early high school.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's not just that guy's nephew and that guy's nephew and that guy's grandson and that guy's son. He's not. He's all that, and he was good.
Yeah. Like,
really good. So then he's got to learn how. He had newspapers from New Orleans probably coming to interview him when he was 13 years old, 12, maybe, So you could tell. He's done it. He's been through it. I thought he was great. Sark and, I just don't know if you could ask for much more as a Texas fan from your head coach and your starting quarterback, considering who your quarterback is and considering that some idiot played the Aggie War Hymn when your coach walked up. Like, if I tell you that ahead of time, it's like, oh, damn, did Sark go Alamo Bowl when he yelled at the dude? And he would have had a right to, but he was awesome and Arch was awesome. I thought they were both like A+, and everybody that goes after them, all these 8 teams that are going to go after, they're not going to get to that level.
Yeah, and you're going to have probably 2 years of that. Arch is going to be in front of the microphone, in front of the camera, literally probably every single week, multiple times. So that's a win for Texas, man. That's going to be the face of your program. I mean, Sark, I guess, is the face, but to have your coach and your star player who is probably as big a star. I mean, I guess technically he has started a game, but he's so inexperienced, but he's as big as a star in terms of his persona and just the aura around him of really any player in college football right now, maybe anyone I can think of in the last several years. I mean, his name, his stature, his game carries that much weight. So to have those 2 guys as the face of the Texas program this year and probably next year, that's a huge win for the Longhorns.
Yeah. And how about this for awareness, Jason? Multiple times, Arch answered a question about kind of regarding Quinn and what he learned from him by saying, yeah, it had to be tough for Quinn to have me as his backup because of all the media. And I'm just like, what did he just say? That's brilliant. He's right. And he kept giving Quinn credit over and over again for different things and saying that he's still texting Quinn and they're in communication. But that was just a great, thoughtful comment. He gets it. He understands that it's a little extra. I'll be honest with you, Jason. I was there in Dallas last year, just guessing by looking at it on TV this year. It didn't look like there were that many more people around Arch than were around Quinn. But I think it was just like it was last year. Clearly, the Texas quarterback got more attention than anybody else is going to get. It didn't feel like it was, they were turning him away or anything like that. It was definitely the biggest group. It was 30, 40 people, probably easy, and he just dealt with it. It was really impressive.
And you don't have to worry about Arch giving some stupid headline that's going to show up on national media because he says something stupid, right? So it's kind of, I'm sure even for Sark, it's like, man, what a nice luxury to have. I don't have to worry about him saying something stupid or showing up and doing something stupid on camera somewhere. He said it like he's like, hey man, I just feel like I'm just kind of a normal guy. I like to play golf. I like to hang out with my friends. I mean, we heard that about him as a recruiter. Like, he is so much different than you would expect him to be. He is just one of the dudes, and that's who he wants to be.
And then I don't know what this says, but it made me smile every time he did it. He uses the word turd to describe himself as, like, he uses it as a synonym for dumbass or blockhead or whatever. And so he's talking along and he's giving this great answer, and then it's like, my friends always remind me if I'm being a turd. And it's like, what do you mean? And he's like, we were out playing golf the other day or yesterday, and I hit a shot, and then I was admiring my shot and kind of commenting on how good it was, and they were like, stop being a turd, what are you doing? The fact that he uses that word, like, it's just, it made me smile. It's not a word I use a lot.
Never. Shithead, sure. Turd, no.
Yeah, right. There's something sort of sweet and colloquial about that word.
Exactly. Even that's kind of sweet and cute in a weird kind of way. So.
Yeah, because Jason, what does that feel like? That feels like what Archie Manning would tell me I was acting like if I was acting like that. Because you and I would say, will you stop being a shithead? What are you doing? But I don't think that's what Archie would say. Archie would say turd. Right.
It's like what my 12-year-old daughter says in front of me, right? Who knows what she says when she walks out there with her friends, but when in front of me, I'm like, it's such an innocent word, right?
It's so good. It was so good. Arch, well done. Well done. All right, we'll grab some David Keith chats coming up here in just a second. Let me give some love once again to one of our great the sponsors that helped us get to and from SEC Media Days, and that is Texas Card House. They sponsor the 12 o'clock show each and every day, and check out this deal if you love you some cards. Also, just want to go check out that incredible big screen that we watched all the games on last year in the Austin area. If you haven't seen that up on 183, that's one of the 6 locations. Head on in, mention Orange Bloods. This is another mention, you heard it, and you get something here. You mention Orange Bloods at check-in, 1 month of free club membership and 2 hours of free poker play. Plus, remember, these are also the people that got you online playing poker again in the great state of Texas. Got to be in Texas to do it. It does not work for Kirby in Georgia. Get the app on your device. Scan it, download it anywhere you want. Play online poker with hijackpoker.com. Who knows? Maybe that was part of why JJ Johnson decided to. Well, no, we won't necessarily go there, but it could have been.
Yeah, no.
Never know. I've been an online poker guy. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know him personally, but you never know. But that flip did happen yesterday afternoon. So we just talked a little bit about Arch. So then once everything was done, just to place it in the day, it was late afternoon. 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that, I think, when the Johnson news came down.
Yeah, no.
Maybe a little later?
I was supposed to take my daughter to gymnastics, and it happened, and that was at 4:30, and I had to scramble and find another ride for her. So I think it happened around 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. ATX Bates turns about as Waxahachie as it gets. Come on. No, that's not true. Not true. I was not raised on that word. I was not raised on that one. All right. So let's get to these David Keith chats, Jason, because I think it'll enable you to talk some good recruiting stuff. First off, on running back, and it kind of gets us to Cooper. I think Texas needs a running back, hopefully Derek Cooper. I'd like to see Texas flip Sam Rosenborough from A&M and Trenton Henderson from LSU. And I hope Texas gets Devon Benjamin. What's your view? So there's a few guys mentioned there.
Yeah, Derek Cooper is the running back out of Florida who's going to announce Sunday at 6 p.m. He's got a top 5. I predicted in my 3-2-1 on Monday night, David Keith, that Texas was going to get him. I feel a lot better about it now than I even did on Monday. So, and again, I'm going to hedge my bets a little bit because it's recruiting, it's NIL. We're still, what is it, Wednesday? We're Thursday, Friday there. So I'm doing 4 days away. So
still time for phone calls? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, phone calls and contracts and whatever else they can do. So,
yeah.
But I favor Texas over Georgia. Again, Georgia and Miami. But yeah, David Keith, I feel really confident as we're sitting here talking live, with the understanding recruiting can change like that. Okay, Tyler Atkinson was going to Texas, but there was an opportunity at the last minute for Georgia or somebody to come in and change that. They didn't do it. Okay, so I think Derek Cooper's recruitment is largely NIL based. I mean, most of these guys are when you're that kind of talent, and I feel like Texas is in a really good spot right there. As far as the flips, Sam Rosenborough from Texas A&M, Trenton Henderson from LSU. I would, if those two, it's far more likely Texas would flip Rosenborough because he's an offensive lineman. They really have another need for offensive lineman. I reported today they're still talking to Zayden Crimpin. Now Zayden is still pretty solid with A&M, but Texas is still working there. So, Rosenborough, there are some connections that Texas, that, people thought might be able to help Texas. So, we'll keep an eye on that one and some others. I mean, Texas is going to have to find a fourth offensive lineman, or they want to find a fourth offensive lineman in this class. So he's a guy we'll be watching. Devon Benjamin is the cornerback safety. He can do a little bit of both. I think that one's going to go Oregon's direction, everything I'm hearing. I think Texas is maybe running third there. It's probably going to be Oregon. Michigan's in play there. Texas did a good job. I talked to Benjamin after he visited Texas, did a really good job in recruiting him on his official visit. I just don't think it's going to be quite enough.
Okay. And just to clarify, Jason, you kind of did a good job of it. But when David Keith mentions running back at the beginning, that's what Derek Cooper is. But none of those other guys are running backs, correct? Rosenborough and Henderson are both O-line?
Henderson's a defensive lineman, kind of a defensive line.
I'm sorry. Okay. Guy. Offensive line for Rosenborough. Defensive line for Henderson. And then you said Benjamin's a DB, correct?
DB, yeah. And Texas, was in the race for Trenton Henderson. He's a really good player, too. But they probably were third in that race too. So, I mean, but again, you can go from third to first, Chad, with one phone call nowadays, right? So,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't think that's not really a flip that I'm watching that closely. Not right now, especially when Texas got Richie Wesley. I mean, they're kind of similar profile players.
So real quick, before we go to this other chat of David Keith, he wants to ask you about Dia Bell, and it transitions to a really cool question. But I wanted to ask you, running back wise, let's say Texas were able to, they get Derek Cooper, like you're saying. Give me a comparison contrast with Cooper and KJ Edwards, a running back recently that Texas fans were interested in. He commits to A&M, obviously. Let's say that commit holds. I may be hoping for a friend, but let's say that commitment holds, and then Texas gets Derek Cooper. What are they ultimately getting there in comparison to how you see Edwards?
I like KJ Edwards a lot, but he's not Derek Cooper. Derek Cooper's bigger. He's more of your prototypical, I wouldn't say a power runner, but he is. I mean, he can run with power. He's a lot bigger than KJ. KJ's, kind of slight of frame. I mean, even his legs and stuff. And I'm not taking away. He's a fantastic player. I love him as a player. But Derek Cooper, to me, has that extra gear. I mean, he is a home run. And KJ does too. Now, KJ's a big play back. But Derek Cooper, I mean, there's really no weakness to his game that I can see when I watch his film. I mean, he's got
maybe a little more versatility overall.
A little more versatility. He can run between the tackles, but he can also get the corner and 60 yards later is in the end zone. So he's a good receiver. I mean, he went to that Rivals camp that I keep talking about, the Rivals 5-star, where the best of the best were there. He got the running back MVP for a reason. I mean, he does it on the biggest of stages. I think he's the best running back in the country. I know the new Rivals just dropped him down. I don't get it. They dropped him. The old Rivals, the Adam Gorneys and those guys, had him ranked, I think it was top 20 in the country. The new Rivals rankings, which are done by new guys, they dropped him to 123 nationally. I don't get it. ESPN has him 7. 24/7 has him number 40. The overall industry ranking number 37 nationally. So that Rivals ranking dropped him out of 5-star status in the industry ranking. But I'd be shocked if he doesn't climb back up those rankings. I don't know how you watch this guy's film, look at his frame, 6 foot, 6'1", 210. I mean, he's a guy that reclassified. He's still young. Okay. I mean, everything about this guy screams elite talent when I look at him.
Yeah, and again, that is 6 o'clock this Sunday for Derek Cooper.
6 o'clock Central is what the scheduled announcement is. Doesn't mean it always happens at that time, but that's what's been put on the calendar.
And what a week that would be if Texas ends up with the commitment from Atkinson over Georgia, the flip of Johnson from Georgia, and then the decision of Derek Cooper. Ultimately, Jason, Derek Cooper would be picking Texas over an obvious second.
Probably Georgia would be what most people seem to think the team that's running second. Yeah, tough week for Kirby.
Wow. Okay. So what you're telling me is that Kirby will not be out there ringing that big bell they've got in Athens. There will be no bell ringing on campus.
I'm not expecting it, but again, hey, it's only Wednesday, so we'll see.
Holy moly, that is amazing. All right, one more from
David keeps talking, and I tell you, Derek Cooper reminds me of a little bit, and he's a little bit because he's talking about his frame. He says he's 210, could get to 230. He's kind of like CJ Baxter in terms of their frame at this age, but he's got a lot more explosiveness than CJ Baxter. And let me tell you, I saw CJ Baxter. I was down there on campus for something. I don't remember, some recruiting event. And he walked right by and like, damn, that guy, like I would not want to tackle CJ Baxter with a head of steam. Okay. So Derek Cooper has that kind of frame. So imagine that kind of frame that I'm talking about. You're like, holy crap, that guy is put together.
Right.
But with more speed than CJ Baxter. And CJ's got some home run hitting ability, but he doesn't have Derek Cooper's speed.
Nice. So when we're talking big, we're not talking Derrick Henry big, but we are talking about an imposing running back.
No, yeah, not many are that big.
Yeah, right. There haven't been many of those.
Hey, I go to a lot of these camps, and Brandon Jacobs is the running backs coach at a lot of these Rivals camps.
Yeah.
To this day, when I see Brandon Jacobs, I'm like, every time I see him, and I see him several times a year, I'm still like, holy cow, that guy! Like, and he still looks like he could play in the league today. By the way, I imagine when he was 26 years old, trying to tackle that guy. You just don't realize how big some of these dudes are in the NFL. I mean, he was known as a big back, but my goodness, he is. I mean, he's a nice guy. I'm sure I've never talked to him, but just the idea of tackling him makes me want to just go crawl in a hole somewhere. The guy's really so physically imposing.
Jason, the reason I mentioned Henry is I got to see him at field level at Alabama as in his prime, and it's unforgettable. I see him on TV now, and it reminds me about, oh my God, that guy's so huge. Like,
I remember him as a recruit thinking this. I was like, whoa, that dude's a running back, and
he looks lost. You look at him and you're like, why is he working out with the running backs? That's a linebacker. What is he doing? And then you see it and just like, it just makes no sense. Like, just the last thing you'd ever want to tackle in your life. All right. I like this one from David Keith as well. Says Rivals previously ranked Diabell at number 59 prior to the recent update. He's now ranked as the number 2 recruit. Which recruit do you think is most underranked or overranked?
I don't know if David Keith is talking about the new Rivals because I think they had him. The new Rivals had him like top 10, I think.
Right. So I guess let's say let's say with the new ranking came out as we speak today on this Wednesday. Do you see guys that you would label that way? It's still a little underranked or overranked?
Well, there's the one that is easy for me, and I need to pull up his profile. I don't know where he's ranked, but Jermaine Bishop is. I don't get it. He's the athlete out of Willis. Let's see if I can pull him up real quickly. But
you think he's underranked?
Underranked. Yeah, I don't like saying overranked. I don't want to,
right,
throw dirt on kids. But he's number 70 nationally, but Rivals has him at 275. 24/7 is at number 25. ESPN 165. So a big discrepancy there. And this guy, he went to these OT7 7-on-7 tournaments. Jermaine Bishop did up in Dallas. I went to a couple of them. And these are players all over the country come in for that, okay? I mean, guys from California and Florida. I mean, it's the best of the best. He dominated up there, but he dropped in the rankings. I don't get it, Chad. Sometimes I'm like, what? The only thing I can understand is he's got a real slight frame. He's listed at 155, but he'll put on pound. I mean, he'll put on weight. But he's such a freakish athlete and just a dynamic player as a receiver or as a defensive back. I don't understand how you can watch that guy and be like, we're going to rank him 275. He's barely in the Rivals 300. Makes no sense to me. Gotcha. No sense to me at all. I mean, so that to me, if you're asking who's underranked, that's the easy choice.
David Keith, thank you very much for that. If you guys want to throw super chats our way, we will certainly take those. Also, thanks to all of our great partners around here, including the good folks out at Deep Eddy. Y'all know I love me some Deep Eddy vodka. Check this out. I saw this on my last trip. Not that I ever go to a liquor store on trips. Not that that's ever happened. But how about that shelf? All 9 flavors of Deep Eddy vodka in one spot. All of them in one place. It is a pretty good thing to check out. So if you can find a shelf like this one was in Bandera, by the way. Shout out to this Spirits of Texas place. We'll hit that when they have all Texas stuff. That's very cool because when I'm in an area that doesn't have a specs, you try to find some places. So if you happen to see one of these, if you're in Bandera, this is what you can check out. But of course, you can also check out all 9 flavors at the Tasting Room out in beautiful Dripping Springs, Thursdays through Sundays. I'm talking to you on a Wednesday, so they're going to be going tomorrow. Get ready, 12 to 7, Friday and Saturday, 11 to 7. Sunday is 12 to 5. They're mixing up all these cool cocktails and more. We're making a plan to get out there to celebrate Sherry's birthday, our great friend Sherry. This is usually what we do for her birthday is go to Deep Eddy. So I can't wait to try the pineapple cocktails that they're putting together out there. Get on out there for those, for the tasting. Make sure to get you some Crimson Creek Smokehouse barbecue as well because it is so, so good. But check them out, Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. And remember to tell them that you heard about it right here on Orange Bloods Live. Always a good idea. Make sure.
Hey, I want to put up one quick chat here and just kind of explain, and hopefully people see this, maybe also watch the recruiting hour. So Rivals has Diabell at 59, they're saying. So what that's referring, I pulled it up. That's the old Rivals, like when Orange Bloods was part of Rivals, okay? The Adam Gorneys, the Sam Spiegelmans, those guys. Well, now that On3 and Rivals have merged, so to speak, or however you want to, whatever, On3 acquired Rivals, they merged. Well, Rivals.com now is basically the old On3 people that used to do the On3 rankings. Those are now the new Rivals rankings. So the Adam Gorneys, the Sam Spiegelmans, John Garcias that used to do those things for Rivals don't do the rankings anymore, but they are still called Rivals rankings. So he didn't technically go from 59 to now he's number 2 in the country on Rivals. Those are 2 different people doing 2 different, completely different rankings. So Dia, in fact, he is number 2 in the country on the new Rivals rankings, okay, done by different people. The number 1 quarterback, I think he was top 10. I don't remember exactly where he was before this on their rankings, which used to be called the On3 rankings. So he's now number 2 in the country, but he didn't go from 59 to number 2. It wasn't quite like that. It's a little, we're talking 2 completely separate rankings.
Yeah, those rankings that's a good explanation, I think, there, because I think the truth might somewhere be in the middle. Like maybe Dia didn't need to be 59, but maybe he's not number 2. That's
kind of like referencing the industry rankings, which takes them all into account. He is number 4 player in the country, number 1 quarterback on the industry rankings. So maybe rivals had him a little bit too low. You could argue the old rivals had him a little bit too low. You could argue, but yeah, he's number 4 in the country in the industry rankings, which takes them all into account. So.
Yeah. And just as a side comment, Texas fans, if you have not pulled up Dia Bell and some highlights, that's a fun fling of a football. Well, that is fun to watch. If you have not seen him throw a football yet, that's a lot of fun to see. There's a little, I'm not trying to put the pressure on him. I'm just saying there's a little bit of a Mahomesian feel to his release to me. That's who I thought of when I saw it first. I'm not trying to put the pressure on you, Dia, but I'm sure I'm not the only person who sees that.
Well, we said that about KJ Lacey at times too.
He's
got kind of some
KJ kind of does, yeah, right.
Things, yeah. So
yeah, the man. I mean, really, what we're saying is that Patrick has kind of redefined the three-quarter sling. So, he's sort of redefined the way we think about that. All right, I don't see any super chats right now. Before we get out of here, I do have a couple of buy or sells for Jason, but real quick before we head towards the exit, let me give Specs their love and shout out to over 720 of you that are in the Specs chat right now. I mentioned that when I was in Bandera, they had Deep Eddy vodka at another place. I know they've got Deep Eddy vodka at Specs. When you are in an area that has a Specs, that's where I go for Deep Eddy. But if you want something else, you need some whiskey, need some beer, need some great craft, drinks and food, they've got it all.
Texans know for selection and lower prices, it all starts at Specs. Shop Specs! With all your favorites on tap, you'll bring home the win. Boots on, drinks up. The fun starts here. Shop Specs!
There you go. Lisa playing beer pong. It's a dangerous thing. I don't believe we had any other super chats we snuck in. All right, Jason, just real quick here. Before we get out, wanted to get your thoughts on a couple things. I think I know the answer on the first one, but I just want to get you on the record. Buy or sell, you were upset as a Texas fan when the Aggie War Hymn played for Sark.
Nah, not at all. I mean, I thought it was funny and kind of pathetic, whoever hit that wrong button, but that stuff doesn't upset me. Horns down doesn't upset me. I mean, I went to Texas. I cover the Longhorns, but I really don't consider myself. It's a job for me, man. I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
But Texas is a job for me at this point. I've been doing this for such a long time. It kind of sucks the fandom part out of it. But did that upset me? Nah, not at all.
And by the way, if y'all want to hit that QR code up in the upper left, that's how you can get signed up for orangebloods.com. You can check out my post on the whole Aggie War Hymn thing. I went on a little bit of a rant for y'all Longhorn fans. I know y'all don't need to
I haven't seen that. I'm going to go, as soon as we get off there, I'm going to go read that.
I had a little bit of a rant because I'm not offended, because I can't be offended as a Longhorn fan because that's not what I am. But as a hopefully broadcaster and somebody that cares about details, that was insulting to me. So I went on a little bit of a rant, and I'm glad Greg Sankey apologized. He needed to, in a capital N needed to kind of way. It was terrible. It was an inexcusable moment. It's the biggest moment of media days. Jason, here's the way I would explain this. Last year in the SEC, there were 8 teams that won 9 games or more, 8 of them. So top 8 teams. 6 of those 8 go in days 1 and 2. 6 of the bottom 8 go today and tomorrow. The only ones that are in that group are Bama and Missouri of the next couple days. You got Arkansas and A&M and OU and Mississippi State these next couple days. They knew what the moment was. They knew what the peak of this week was. Sark walking in that suit. Arch Manning walking in uncomfortable with his tie. You have to be buttoned up and ready to go. And how that person doesn't know which button to hit and let it play all the way into dun, 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 dun. Anybody want to stop it? Does anybody want to stop this? I know you're in Atlanta.
Pour some water on that soundboard, short it out, or whatever you have to do.
God, I know y'all aren't into the 2 Texas teams the way I am. I know you don't react to Texas fight and that War Hymn the way I do, but come on. I felt
do you think Chad, it was
bad for everyone involved. It was so silly.
Do you think like people are saying, "Oh, it was done like a prank"? I don't think so. Like,
no, it better not have been. That's even worse.
If that happened, like it's even worse. Yeah. So like, I'm picturing some intern just like sitting there hitting the button when the coaches walk in, and he just saw Texas and didn't pay attention, hit the wrong button, he or she, or maybe they mislabeled, which I don't know, but like I'm picturing some like college intern that probably got his or her ass chewed out, for making a pretty bad but honest mistakes.
And they should have. And A&M's 2 days away from that. It's not like that. If they were on the same day, which I think was the case, was it last year? They were apart last year too. If they were the same day, I might let you have an excuse. But come on. Yeah. Does anybody actually think that when Kalen DeBoer walked up on that stage, there was any chance the Auburn song was playing? Any chance? Like, come on. All right, there you go. I got it out. I got it out of my system. Go check out my rant on Orange Bloods if you want. But I did also go on to talk about how Sark dealt with that and the other stuff and Arch, and they were both pretty impressive to me. So, all right, how about the general stuff, Jason? They're talking about this week. Buy or sell, you have a preference for the future of the CFP.
So they're talking about what, 16?
They're talking 16, and it feels like the reports are that the SEC is more in favor of that 5-11 idea, while the Big Ten likes the pre-programmed, like 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC, and on down the line. They like that idea better.
I like the idea of going 16. I don't know. I don't hate the first round buys with the 12 layout either. But I like the 5-11, because let the best, if there's a Boise State in the world, I hate for a team like that to get shut out potentially. Maybe you have 2 or 3 of those types of teams. I hate to see one of those teams, if they're genuinely worthy, I hate to see one of those teams get shut out because there are certain allotments that have to go to certain conferences. Mm-hmm. I love seeing the underdogs. And one of my favorite games I've ever watched as a college football fan was Boise State beating Oklahoma. Okay. So
I think a lot of people watching this might have liked that game.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. So, I like to have the idea of having as many at-large bids as you can. Okay. That's what I'm in favor.
Yeah. So here, I was thinking about this today. There's a weird little metaphysical question I would ask the SEC, because I agree with you, Jason. I think that's the best way to go. And my argument would be, if you go your way, then you're looking at like 10 or 11 spots that are going to be open. If you go with the 5-11, you have 4 guaranteed non-SEC teams, maybe 5. If we had Notre Dame's got to get a slot if they're good. So let's say it's 5. 5 guaranteed non-SEC teams. Well, that leaves 11 that could be, SEC. But here's the other thing. If you go the Big Ten's route and you say 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, the SEC can start to freak out. But wait a second. In that scenario, you get 9 guaranteed non-SEC teams. So my question to the SEC is, what do you really want here? Do you want more in the playoff because you think that gets you a better chance? Or do you want 4 badass teams in that playoff playing teams from conferences you think, and you probably are right, aren't as good as your teams? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's 2 ways to attack.
I hate the idea of the 4th best team in the Big Ten being like an 8-4 Iowa team.
I agree.
Getting into the playoffs over a 11-1 team from a smaller conference. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I like seeing those underdogs have a shot.
And I think you're right, Jason. I think that's what the Big Ten is scared of. The Big Ten wants that system because deep down they know you're right. What's the better chance every college football season that there are 6 SEC teams that are dangerous or 6 Big Ten teams?
Yeah,
I think the answer is easily SEC.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I'm interested how that fight goes on. And remember, circle December 1st on your calendar. If there's a change coming, they have to do it by December 1st. So right after the game in Austin with the Aggies, if you're a Texas fan, obviously you hope your team's about to go to Atlanta. Right then is when they have to figure this out. Otherwise, it's going to have to stay at 12 teams and the way they're doing it this year. So just something to keep in mind. All right, Jason, I got one more because I know you love your hardball. And last night we had one the traditionalists may have freaked on. So I got to know, buy or sell. As a baseball fan, you enjoyed the All-Star Game home run swing off.
Well, it's better than the year it ended in a freaking tie, but overall, sell. Like,
that's a no.
I'm okay with doing the current. I thought about this last night. I was like, I mean, I didn't hate it, okay, but you didn't get to see Alonso bat because the National League had it wrapped up. So like Aaron Boone, why he chose who he chose. I'm like, what are you thinking, idiot? My Yankees manager. But I'm okay. Like, hey, instead of having the man on second to start the inning like they do in extra innings, put him on second and third. I'm fine with that. Hell, load the bases. I don't care. So that way you're pretty much guaranteed it only goes one extra inning, maybe two at the most. Like, do something like that. But I like the idea of having a more traditional end to a game. Yeah. So.
Load the bases. 3-1 count for everybody. Let's go.
Exactly. Yes. Well, let's get some runs going. We'll make this thing exciting, but it's only going to go one inning, but it might end up being like 17-16. But
yeah, I was trying to explain it to, like, if you could resurrect your favorite baseball fan that's passed on, right? Your great granddad that loved, and like you bring him back to life and he's like 80, 85, 90 years old. You're like, okay, grandpa, here's what happened. The MVP of the All-Star game didn't get a hit in the game and didn't register an out in the game, but he's still the MVP. Do you want to hear why? And that's when grandpa just goes ahead and re-dies. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm going back to the grave.
Did Schwarber win MVP? I didn't even pay attention. Did he get
MVP?
Oh,
he won the MVP.
Based off of that. Because he did not get a hit in the game.
Didn't get a hit in the game, and I believe that's right. He didn't actually register an out. I think
Alonso should have got MVP. The dude hit a 3-run home run. I mean, come on, man. And like, if you're Aaron Boone, you shouldn't have got me on this. And listen, I'm a Yankees fan, but Aaron Boone drives me effing bonkers. Okay, but like, I wanted them to fire him a couple years ago. How is Aaron Judge not in your swing off?
Yeah, I kept asking myself this, and you, Jason, I'm on the other side of the spectrum from you. I'm a Yankees hater. I'm an NL guy. I wanted the NL to win, but I'm thinking, why didn't he go with Judge?
Dude, you couldn't have like Ohtani and Judge as your last two. That would have been awesome. Like, that would have been pretty cool to see those two. Like, it's tied up going to your last guys, and it's Ohtani and Judge. I mean,
in theory, I liked the idea of it, and more than anything, Jason, this is my sort of traditionalist baseball thought. I loved when they finally got away from the dumbass World Series connection. As long as they did that, I really don't care. They could decide that game with Parcheesi for all I care, because we went, a decade? When I say it to kids, it's almost like saying Texas and Texas A&M stopped playing football. But there's a way more logical reason for that than there is for what baseball did. And it's hey, kids, gather around. Let's tell you about the decade or so where the baseball all-star game determines something in the World Series. And it's like, what are you talking? But now, Jason, we can talk to the managers during the game. We mic up players during the game. It's so much more fun because it's supposed to be. It's a damn exhibition. And Kyle Schwarber hitting a homer and going to his knee in a weird swing off. Like, by the end of the night, I'm just sitting there thinking, to what you were, it wasn't that damn tie because that was humiliating. And we figured out a winner. We move on, and it didn't affect the World Series. So to me, that's a check
bring
box.
Pitchers back in. If that's, they're like, oh, you run out of pitchers. Well, then, these guys, they were 1 inning max. I mean, okay,
right.
Let Paul Skeens come back in and throw the 10th inning, put runners on second, third, and whatever.
Here, let's do this. This was my weird idea. What if, and we can put as many on base as you want. I like your idea. Maybe we go second and third, whatever. Only allow position players to pitch.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
And you bring in the one you think can strike out whoever it is. Keep the lineup the way it is, right? But if it's Aaron Judge coming up, the National League has to figure out, okay, which of our position guys.
Okay, but if you're going to do that, then you got to make Aaron Judge bat left-handed. You got to. That wouldn't work for a switch hitter, I guess. But everybody has to hit from the other side of the plate. Even up a little bit.
I guess if you're going to do that, Ohtani cannot participate because he's just
you got to skip him in the lineup. Yes.
Anyway, it was a wild all-star game last night. If y'all missed it, all right, I appreciate you dealing with that. I knew I'd get a thought out of you because I know how much of a baseball guy you are. That's Jason Sukumel. Check out orangebloods.com for all the latest info. Hell, even though Jeff Ketchum is off this show today, the man's never off. The man never actually stops working. He had a couple of posts today about updated recruiting stuff after the Atkinson commitment and looking forward to, is Cooper going to be in there and all that stuff. So go check that out. at orangebloods.com. Plus, Anwar had a great post about all the different stuff that you need to know from Sark's time talking to the media. Alex had an immediate reaction to Sark stuff because he was in Atlanta as well. And shout out to Alex, Cody, Anwar, Sonny, our crew. Sonny did what I thought she would do, Jason. She was in perfect position for Arch Manning.
Mm-hmm.
We knew it. It was so good. She busted through the line and she never moved, man. She had a great perspective on Arch. Sonny, well done. Well done. Check out orangebloods.com for the very latest. Jason, anything else you want to hit today before we get out?
Nope, I'm good. I am looking forward to a few days of vacation next week, so I will be watching Derek Cooper closely on Sunday night, and then I'll be around for a couple of days next week, but then I'm going to try to ease into a little family time next week. So hopefully I'll be leaving town on a high note on after Derek Cooper announces.
Also, hopefully, we certainly hope you guys are here for us on the Thursday show tomorrow. We're hoping for a special modcast tomorrow because it's not often, because they're all so busy, not often that Ketch, Anwar, and Jason end up on these shows together. We're going to try that one tomorrow. I think Ketch said he's good to jump back in. We're doing a special Thursday modcast tomorrow at noon. And with Anwar and Jason both on, we get a little taste of Anwar because he was in Atlanta and what was going on there. Jason obviously covering all this recruiting stuff. And holy crap, what a week for Texas. And hey, Bulldogs, what's up? That going on. So we'll get all that plus all of Ketch's thoughts on both sides of things. And I'll try to just, wrangle it all and see if I can keep it all straight tomorrow at noon on a modcast. So we're going to give that a shot. Thanks for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. Check out all the content. Check the video section. Check the shorts section because we got a lot of cool stuff with Arch. By the way, Anthony Hill, Michael Taft, both did a great job. Mm-hmm. They were both awesome. I heard fans get mad that they got asked too much about Arch, but they knew that was coming. Yeah, they did an awesome job. And shout out to Michael Taft for showing up in a tie with the initials of all of the girls and the counselors that are either missing or accounted for and lost their lives in the Camp Mystic thing. And that was incredible, Jason. That was a jaw dropper when I saw that picture and saw the explanation. That's just an incredible move from a kid. I mean, Sark mentioned it. Greg Sankey talked about it. The Texas floods did get mentioned at SEC Media Days. I thought that was classy of everybody.
Yeah, I agree. When I saw that tie, I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that. It just kind of hit home. That whole thing is still very, very touching, tragic, and heartbreaking still to this day.
No doubt, man. Paul Feinbaum was interviewing Sark and just stopped and talked about it because he just I know your part of the world is going through something right now. And they really got into a nice, serious conversation about it. So certainly still thinking of all those folks. And we mentioned the modcast coming up tomorrow. Shout out to one of our great sponsors, Daily in Black, who got that GoFundMe started to help those people out. We'll get you an update on that tomorrow in the modcast. All right, that is going to do it for this show. Check out all the great content. We'll get you a new Outsiders episode tomorrow, premiering at 10 a.m. on a Thursday. Chance Mock's top 5 SEC quarterbacks for the year is the Mock 5 top 5. Apparently, Jason Dick saw a list of SEC quarterbacks, and it pissed him off. Do you know what that means, kids? It means Arch Manning wasn't number 1. No one loves Arch Manning more than Jason Dick, and he is going to gush on Arch this week. I guarantee it because SEC Media Days happen. So we're going to have to hold Jason back because he's ready to give Arch the Heisman right now before the games are even played. So we'll have fun on the Outsiders this week too. Thank you all for checking it all out. Again, like, subscribe, get those notifications. Thank you all for getting the good grief. The subscriber number has really jumped in the last couple weeks, and we're headed up towards 40,000. So thank you guys so much. I think we're over 38, maybe 30, high 37s, maybe into the 38,000s right now. Thank you so much for that.